Hey everybody, welcome to etrailer.com. I'm Bobby, and today we're taking a look at the Holiday Rack's destination 4-bike rack carrier here on our 2017 Jeep Cherokee. Now, if you're looking at a way of getting a host of bikes to the trails with you, this can be a great option. Right out of the gate, this is going to be a platform style rack, and you are getting 4 bikes on there. A couple immediate advantages. If you're looking at some differences, hanging style is going to be a great way to start accessing 4 bikes. However, you are going to start running into a lot of issues with those bikes running into each other, as they are going to be kind of swaying back and forth on those posts. Now, there are a lot of ways to combat it, but I think one of the best ways is just to go ahead and upgrade to a platform style rack. Now, today on the destination, we are going to have a host of different straps to have to deal with. It definitely looks a little busy here on the rack, so it is, not the most low profile kind of design. However, it is going to be great for holding on to a host of different bikes. We're going to get a lot of versatility out of it as well, so that's going to be amazing for ourselves. On the end of each cradle, you'll notice on each of these wheel mounts here, we have these little knobs here. What's going to be great about this, we can actually switch these straps on these 2 different positions throughout the entirety of our rack. A little bit of versatility there, just for our length of bikes. Now, talking about bikes, though, you can actually fit up on here. This does have a 35-pound weight capacity per bike. And a thing to keep in mind as well, if you're looking at a way of getting carbon frames to the trails with you, unfortunately, we do have frame contact on our bike today, so that won't be an option for us, as that frame contact will end up deteriorating and warping our carbon frames. Now, a lot of times with those hanging styles, too, you start running into issues with women bikes, step-through bikes, and even kids' bikes, as they don't have a great horizontal frame attachment point. And I think that's where the destination really starts excelling as well. On this mast, as you'll see, they have a host of different capabilities. As you can see, we can actually go ahead and pivot this cradle 360 degrees. And what's great about that, we had a smaller bike with a horizontal frame here being attached to. Like ours today, if you had a diagonal, we could even go straight to a vertical post. Definitely a lot of versatility here for this rack, and that's where I think it really starts shining. Again, it is a little busy, but I really do like how much straps I'm having. That way I know my bike's going to stay nice and secure to my rack with no trouble at all. On the end too, you'll notice we have a couple little reflectors. I do like pointing those out. I don't think they're standard enough across the industry. We are dealing with a black rack, and it's nice to just let everybody know behind us where we are. That way we don't have any accidents on our trips, especially if we're getting home at dusk, and we just want to make sure we are home safe. Well, the bike's not going to take too much time to take off, so all we have to do is actually release our ratchet straps here. One thing I'd like to point out, or I guess a couple I should say, is that we are getting a nice little cover for our wheel rims. If you're worried about kind of damaging them, it can be nice that we can go ahead, put that pad over it. You will notice this little hole too for our fingers to go through. I find it's very helpful, especially you can imagine if it's a little cold or dark. Nice that we're not having to pinch those. Very easy to actually hold on to, especially if there's a little rain on there. Maybe we're staying out just a little too late at the trail. Nice that we have a nice little contact point for ourselves. Those straps can also easily be put out of the way, which makes mounting it even easier. Sometimes you start running into trouble with those small straps that just can't seem to get out of the way. They can be a real hassle. I like how those aren't going to be causing us any trouble. To release our last point is going to be our last frame contact, and we want to go ahead and make sure we are supporting our bike. I find it really easy just to go ahead, wrap a hand around, and start pinching that in. And then I can swing our strap through, kind of holding it like so. And now we are released here. Go ahead and pull my strap through there. We'll be careful with our vehicle, of course. And to take this down, I like to go ahead and just take my gear housing out the other way. Way less stuff to worry about, and we are ready to ride. Now, it's definitely not, the cleanest, easiest one to kind of mount and dismount. As you saw, that mast can kind of get in the way. But again, we are kind of paying for that with that versatility we're getting from this mast system. To shorten this down, though, we can go ahead and collapse it. On the inside here, you're going to know this lever that's actually holding this up. Now, that's taking a lot of the play out, and we could even tighten this down a little bit more to make sure we're reducing all that. But we wanted to make sure we can actually collapse this down and start getting this nice and collapsed. To do so, I'm just going to release that knob. This lever's just going to hang wherever we need it to. I'm going to go ahead and put it back here for now. And then I'm also going to go ahead and bring this arm down. Now, here in a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and put this guy up. So I recommend taking this extra strap, and just running it through. And that's going to do a good job of holding this mast up so it won't be popping up whether we don't have anything on it or we are going to be putting it in its put away position. Talking about its put away position, as you can see, this is adding a little bit of length to our vehicle. But one big thing I want to point out, it doesn't actually have a tilting capability. So unfortunately, if you do have a bike closer on this inset, as you guys saw, we won't be able to access the back of our cargo until we take that off. As you can see, going to be crossing right here in the middle. Now you might actually be able to get away with it if you aren't having anything on the front. You know, you could take that one off. However, when we are transporting bikes, we want to make sure we are always loading up our bikes closest to our hitch. I wouldn't be using those two outside ones if we only had two. Always putting them close to our vehicle is going to make our bike rack last way longer. But as you can see now, I can quickly get in here, get those coolers, helmets, anything I might need from the back of our spacious Jeep Cherokee there. But talking about that put away function, we definitely want to go ahead and shave down some space. But let's go ahead and give a look and see how much length we are actually working with. And right at 38 inches, maybe right underneath it there. So about 38 being our max to the end. Definitely a lot of length to consider. Keep in mind you are getting 4 bikes on here, and we do have a way of shortening that down really quickly. On the inside of the assembly, you'll notice we just have this little clip. Go ahead and pull him out. We just have a little hand knob on the other side, then I want to start loosening up. And once that thread's done being exposed, I can go ahead and let that hang down and bring this carrier up. Start finding that hole and reinserting it and tightening this down. Now we're going to do a good job of tightening this. It's not going to take too much though. Just a couple turns is going to be great until we find that resistance. And what that's going to do is take a lot of the play out as we are in this position. That way we're not rocking into our vehicle or coming undone in any kind of way. You can see that that does a very good job of taking the play out. We could probably even get a few more cranks if we needed to. But I want to give us a quick little look. I can get a whole hand in the back there. Definitely not going to have any kind of space issues. The only thing I'd be careful about in this position, you can see that we are getting closer to our backup camera. So in this position, you might have a lot more reduction of visibility just because we are getting kind of close and there is a lot going on our Jeep. One thing I do like about it though, it doesn't actually sit too high. We're still getting about half of our tail light above here. So I think we're going to be doing a good job of getting those reverse lights even included when we are in this position. It is a very tall platform, so I just like to check those guys for ourselves. And it isn't even clearing or taking up any of our back view here, which is always great to see. Well, that's actually shaved down a lot of length for us, so I want to go ahead and give us a quick little look. So from the rear of our bumper to the very end of our post puts us right at 10 3/4 to the end here. Our wing is sitting just a little bit behind that. So as you can see, definitely going to be a huge reduction of that. Now we can get this in the garage, or at least in those tight parking places with that added maneuverability. Now, one thing I want to also check here is our clearance. So our biggest worry is going to be when our bikes are actually in a carrying position. So I'm going to bring it back down here really quick. That hand knob, very handy. I do like how large it is. It's not one of those tiny ones where you're sitting there pinching it with your hands. And just to give us a quick little check here, I think our wings are going to be the closest points to the ground. Now as those front wheels go up, the back will go down. And so will our hitch mounted accessories. And at 17 1/4 inches, I think this guy is doing a pretty good job of being well enough out of the way. But keep in mind you are, those 30 inches extended from the back of our bumper. That's going to definitely add some dimensions we're going to keep in mind. So if you have any very steep terrain, just be very careful of the back here and definitely be careful with any kind of off-roading as we get on the road. But I think it is going to be sitting well enough out of the way. Our bikes are going to be protected. Moving our way inside the receiver here, though, you can see we do have a 2-inch receiver, and that is inside of our 2-inch hitch today. And they also do have included a threaded anti-rattle hitch bolt. Now, these are pretty standard, but what they do is they bring this in line with our receiver and our hitch, and that brings it all to one system. So as we're driving, we're feeling a lot less play. Our bike racks are feeling less play, and especially our bikes. And on the end too, you will see we do have a locking core that's been included, which is great to make sure that this stays to our vehicle when we leave it unattended. This also will have a cable lock that comes with it that can be nice to secure our bikes to our bike rack. Well, I think the destination really starts speaking for itself when you start seeing it. I think it can be a little foreboding when you are staring at it. You're seeing all these straps. It's kind of hard to place where they want to go. But once you actually get this loaded up and you see how it looks with 4 bikes, you definitely see why all the straps are there. They are going to be staying nice and secured, and we're not going to have any worries as we go down the road. Well, I think that about does it for our look at the Hallorack's Destination 4 bike rack carrier here on our 2017 Jeep Cherokee. I'm Bobby. Thank you for watching.
Now we're going to go ahead and take it on our test course. First, we'll start with the Slaloms. This is going to show the side-to-side action. It's kind of going to mimic the movements that you'll see whenever you're driving down the road normally. Now we'll have the alternating speed bumps. This is going to be more so like the uneven roads and some of that uneven terrain you might be traveling on, and see how it holds up.